Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes, it's the Great Charleston Contest. Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome to the Peach Pod After Dark. I am Jeff, and did you further know that this key opens that lock? I'm a big fan of Freddie Othello. And joining me on the other end of the internet, my cuz-host.
I'm Leslie, and I wish I had $1 million.
Hot dog. No, I want a big one. So this week, Cheesemeisters, we are talking about It's a Wonderful Life, the 1946 Frank Capra "We Serve Hard Liquor to Men Who Want to Get Drunk Fast" masterpiece, starring Jimmy Stewart, Donna Reed, and Lionel Barrymore. We are doing this in conjunction with Season 3, Episode 16, It's a Totally Happening Life, Bro. And our spelling connection is Donna Reed, who did an episode of The Love Boat.
Of course she did.
Yeah. So I was chastised mildly for watching this movie on the Saturday after Thanksgiving because this is a Christmas Eve watch for some people. Like the Christmas watching season, it peaks at this, and then it becomes day. So did it feel weird to you to watch this so early in the Christmas season?
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes and no. I was fine with it, but some of the nostalgia and the emotions for me came from thinking about all those times coming in after visiting family. It's on TV, sitting with my dad and watching it. Yeah.
So it's tradition based for you.
But I mean, it's one of those that came about in, like, I would say more of like my late teens to adult, early adult years. So it is and it isn't a tradition.
Okay. So for anyone who hasn't seen this movie, I swear to God, hit pause.
Oh my God. Just stop.
Stop. Yeah, just go watch it, come back, get your Kleenex.
Yep.
This movie's wonderful. I love this movie so much. This is the story of George Bailey, who is despondent.
Is he sick?
No, he's lost all hope. He's despondent. He is considering committing suicide. And were it not for the heavy hand of some angels, he might have gone through with it. They send AS2, Angel Second Class, Clarence, down to save George's life. But before we send him down, and this should sound familiar to anyone who's seen It's a Totally Happening Life, Clarence needs to get caught up on the man he's trying to save. And so Joseph shows him George's life. Key moments along George's life that will help Clarence know what to do and how to save George. And so the first half of the movie is George Bailey from the age of 11?
Yeah.
Give or take, to the night that he's thinking of killing himself. And then Clarence shows him what life would have been like if he hadn't been there. Mm-hmm. And it makes George realize that he has had a wonderful life, and he doesn't commit suicide. In fact, his lip's bleeding, and he's got Susu's pedals and Macar.
He is the human version of a Muppet.
He's so great. Yeah, he's just all energy. Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls!
Merry Christmas,
Merry Christmas, you're building a loan!
Merry Christmas to you too, in jail.
So like this movie makes me weep. Oh. Every year it makes me cry. But it also makes me laugh very hard a number of times throughout the movie. this might be a perfect movie.
It's pretty close.
Yeah. I mean, it is touching from start to finish. And 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 it's heartbreaking.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just heartbreaking when George finds himself up against it at the end. My heart breaks for George about 7 times in this movie.
Yeah.
At every moment where his dreams are diverted so he can take care of others, breaks my heart. Just does every time. And I don't know if, like, here's what I want to ask. Why does this movie endure? Why does this movie touch you? Is it just the nostalgia, or are there things about the story that hit you? Is it those things that I was just saying, or is it like this moment at the end where the town comes to his aid? What is it about this that hits you?
Um, I know the thing that I think resonates more and more with me, which it will sound sad, but it's supposed to resonate with people. Like, I think I think the majority of us can relate to that feeling of hopelessness and wondering if our life is going to have any meaning,
Mm-hmm.
if we're making any sort of positive impact on the world. At least I hope people are
Mm-hmm.
worried about making a positive impact. Um, you know, I I'm one of those people who very much believes that there is a reason for us to be here. At
Mm-hmm.
least I want there to be a reason, because for there not to be a reason would be worse in my mind.
Gotcha.
So I I relate to the hopelessness and the he feels the pain at dreams unmet, even though I'm lucky that I've gotten to leave home and pursue things. Um yeah, I just think a lot of people can relate to his pain, and I
Mm-hmm.
think we all really want to know and feel like our lives mean something to someone.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it resonates. Um yeah, even the things in the movie that I have questions about as I was watching it, I thought I'm still not immune to like the beauty throughout this film. Like, it is
Mm-hmm.
very much of its time, and I think there are parts of it that are timeless. Um the, the movie as a whole is timeless. Um but it's also very much of its time.
Yeah. I wonder, because, like, there's so many ways that this movie can grab a hold of you. Like, it's the story of the underdog, right? Like, we're rooting so hard for this guy who is tilting against the biggest windmill in town. Even though in the whole vast configuration of things, I'd say you're nothing more than a scurvy little spider. And that goes for you too.
Goes
Oh.
for too.
I'm just gonna do impressions of people in this movie all day long. I can't fucking help it.
Oh, you mean this isn't going to be like Clue, where we're quoting it mercilessly?
Yeah, but this time I'm quoting it with accents.
Oh,
Like me, I'm giving out wings.
well, again, very much of its time. Like, I feel like the 40s, maybe coming off of the radio era, people were
Yeah.
still so used to having to do voices, and I mean, honestly, that should stick around. This whole
Yeah.
like playing it natural all the time and trying to be real, malarkey.
Sentimental hogwash. It's wonderful. So it's the underdog story, right? So everyone can identify with pulling for the underdog. It's why Rocky is so great. Go back and listen to our 9-hour podcast on Rocky 4 if you want to know. Where the guy is under the heel of the tyrannical uh, capitalist overlord. And he doesn't beat him, but he survives,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and while he survives makes this impact. So there's that part of it. There's the part of it where he realizes how much he's impacted the lives of those around him, which I think is another way that people can feel pulled by this movie. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that what you were saying, that desire to feel like your life matters.
Yeah.
And um and that real wealth comes from building the life you have, not from $20,000 a year, a couple trips to New York, and maybe Europe.
Maybe Europe.
Um, it's not those things. Like, the accumulation of wealth isn't what matters. It's the accumulation of your impact upon others. Now, how we ended up where we are in modern day times with generations of people who saw this message and find it touching, I don't know, but here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing about it for me has always been the stacked weight of the disappointments.
Mm.
Like, it's that stuff for George that makes me cry. Like, but it's not just that stuff. It's also George Bailey, I'll love you to the day I die. That makes me sob, because we know it's true, right?
Yeah.
We know that this little girl feels this way about George and loves him her whole life. I I know you're sad. I know you got the letter, but you put bad things in the medicine. Like, that him confronting Mr. Gower makes me cry.
Yeah.
Don't hurt my bad ear.
Oh my God. Yeah. That
You
scene
know?
gets me on so many levels.
Yeah, it makes and I didn't. Isn't something I noticed until like last year watching it, but this is 1919. Mr. Gower's son dies of the pandemic.
Ugh.
He dies of influenza, is what it says in the telegram.
Oh,
That's the Spanish flu. That is the pandemic. So this is the pandemic film, which, like, I mean, we just never even think about it that way, but it is like it,
yeah.
which is gives it this extra awful fucking layer to it. Um, but then George is gonna go exploring. He's gonna get out there. He's gonna make his dream happen. And then his father dies, and he has to stay. But he's got it all worked out. And when Harry comes back, he's going to go to college. And Harry comes back with the wife and the job. And now there's once again no one to take over this obligation. And if George leaves, the whole town is going to fall under the thumb of Potter, which he can't bear. And his father's legacy will be destroyed, which he also can't bear. And we texted about this a little bit, but I didn't even notice it until this viewing, but there's a shot where after he meets Ruth, and she and Uncle Billy walk by to talk to Harry again, the camera stays on George as he walks to them, and his face shows devastation.
Mm-hmm.
He's heartbroken because he knows he is once again not getting out.
Yeah.
And as the camera pans and he walks past, he puts on a smile.
Yeah.
And it's a natural smile, because it's a smile he's been putting on his whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's a celebration of George and Ruth, or Harry and Ruth. And then in the wake of this, like realizing that his dream is once again destroyed, or at minimum put on hold, but probably done.
Yeah.
He goes to Mary's house, where what follows is the most hilarious scene in the movie almost. But also, and like on purpose funny, not like, oh, they did a bad job. It's he he just gives up. He gives up on that dream, and he and Mary come together.
Yeah.
They get married, and they're going to go on this trip. And then there's a run on the bank. And George is once again prevented from doing any of the things that that little boy wanted to do.
Yeah.
And every time that happens, it breaks my heart. Every time. Even talking about it fucking breaks my heart. But then at the end of the movie, when all of the Twilight Zone stuff is done, and this could be an episode of the Twilight Zone.
Oh,
it's,
yeah.
it's that
The music at one point is ooh.
Yeah, it is a spooky. It's spooky what he endures. But when the crowd comes in, and the fucking asshole with his $200, the first person to give money,
$142 isn't going to break anybody.
Yes, it is, jackass. You ever heard of a run on the bank, motherfucker? When he reads the telegram from Sam Wainwright, it fucking destroys me.
Oh.
Every time. It just rips my heart out.
Yeah.
In a different way than the rest of it does. In because all of that is devastation. And that moment, Hee-HAW, $25,000 it's salvation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like he could have had all that money if he had gotten in on the ground floor of plastics.
Yeah.
You know, George would have been doing okay if he did that. But he didn't want any ground floors, and he didn't want to get married to anybody ever. He got married, he didn't get any ground floors. It kind of breaks my heart when he yells at his daughter and oh, daddy.
Oh my God.
Like when she doesn't know whether she's supposed to practice or not because he's just emotionally torturing her. Like, it is, there's so much in this movie that just destroys me every time I watch it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if my experience of this movie is everyone's experience of it, if everyone feels each of those cuts the way that I do, or if it's just like they're like attaboy Clarence, no man is a failure who has friends. If maybe that's the thing that grabs most people by the heart. I don't know, but I know for me it's all of it.
Yeah, no, I feel you there too. It is definitely all of those beats hit hard, and they don't get any easier. The longer you live and the more you watch it, because we I don't want to say we all, and again, everyone's experience is different, but like I know for me watching it this time around too, I thought, man, it does not feel that far off from where we are. Like, we had a pandemic. We've had recessions before that. We've had everything's been all over the place. There's turmoil everywhere. There are strikes happening all the time. And, good can come from this, but there's a lot of setback that comes from it too. And it's hard. You when you're a kid and you find the thing that lights a fire underneath you, you think, okay, great. I know what I need to do to get it. you don't think about the fact that your life is going to be more like the Odyssey, uh, or Lord of the Rings, and less like the Wizard of Oz, where you just have a road. And yes, she has obstacles, but like there's really nothing in the way of that road. Like she
Hmm.
makes friends, and he makes friends along the way too, thankfully.
Hmm.
But and yeah, the ending. I mean, the ending just wrecked me this time because I was watching it. I was like, this is why we need community. This is why we need friends. Like,
Hmm.
this is why, dear world, I beg of you, can we all get off of this more? I'm
Right.
holding my phone. Like, we're living in the loneliest city, and can't entice people to come over and bond. Like, it's
Right.
just such a different world. And so I think people do still want friendship and to be close. Like, we laugh and call these kinds of movies corny, and yet we love them and want that.
Yeah. I don't think this movie's corny at all.
No, I
You
mean
know
the
what I
movies
mean?
of that time.
Sure.
So I'm generalizing. No, this
Yeah.
I didn't. And even if it was, it has my kind of corny moments in it. It's beautiful.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Um, I have other questions that are less sentimental hogwash. Um, but I don't want to get away from that if there's more of that flavor of conversation you want to have, because this movie holds all of it.
Oh, I'm fine with going back and forth between sentimental and less sentimental. I mean, I yeah, I am a balanced person on these things.
All
I
right.
like I like making space for both.
Okay. So let's start with this then. Is Harry Bailey a bad younger brother or the worst younger brother? Because he fucking sucks. Like, he starts off, my kid brother, scaredy cat, Hee-Haw, coming on down into the fucking Kosh George's hearing. Like, good job, Harry Bailey.
He
Um,
could have jumped ship off that shovel, and he didn't.
yeah,
He starts yelling help before he's even in the water.
he knows what's coming. Yeah,
He's
but he's like, yep, George is gonna bail me out. Don't worry about it. Form a chain. Then he he fucking like he's chairman of the Eats Committee, and 20 minutes before the thing, he's like, "Mom, I just need a couple dozen plates." Fuck off,
he
Harry
has
Bailey.
Annie.
Yeah, he does. Um,
Unforgivable.
yeah, and then he bakes him these pies, and then he takes a couple dozen plates out of their house. He doesn't ask first. This is parents know what I'm talking about. This is the science fair's tomorrow. I need a poster board. It's 8:30. Like, that's what Harry Bailey is with it. Ugh. And then he comes back married, taking another job, just straight fucking George, and he knows he's doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if he doesn't save all of those sailors and get his presidential medal, Harry Bailey's a bum that can fuck right off.
You know what? The writers probably knew that too, and were like, "Oh shit, we gotta have him do something incredible in war. Otherwise, there's no reason to save him."
Nope. This guy. I mean, good job saving this asshole, George. All it did is bite you in the ass over and over again.
I don't think he's the worst. I I can't speak for all youngest siblings, but as a as the youngest, I'm laughing because I have no idea what I'm gonna say. Really, I feel like I had expectations of like, well, I have an older sibling. That means she has to protect me, and she has to. I mean, my sister definitely took on the an extra mother. I'm mother adjacent because
Mhm.
no one chastised me more for swearing or taking the Lord's name in vain than my sister. Hey, Ashley.
second mom. And
Times I wanted to be like, you're my sister. You're supposed to be cool. Calm down.
and here's what George Bailey says, older brother. Why do you have to be such an asshole and get everything you want?
Because I'm cute.
I'm here doing all the fucking work. I am putting in the effort, and you just skate in whenever you feel like it with your Ruth Baileys and your jobs and your war hero bullshit. And here I am fighting Potter. Like, I don't know. I do think there's an older sibling, younger sibling dynamic at play here that's pretty funny.
Yes.
But, I'm just saying, Harry Bailey kind of sucks. That's all I'm saying.
That's valid. I hear you. I never said I was a great younger sibling. I'm awesome now.
How many men did you save?
Well, thankfully, sexism worked in my favor for a long time, and no one expected me to enlist or sign up for the army.
I had to. That's some bullshit too. That selective service crap that 18 to 25-year-old boys still have to register for the draft and girls never have. Bullshit. Yeah.
See,
the one
what
thing.
I mean when I say everyone suffers from the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Some more than others.
Unless you're 4F because of your bad ear. What'd you say? That's my bad ear. All right. Here's another one. Is Potter a vampire?
Okay, as I was watching the movie yesterday, pretty much anyone who starts out as an adult in this movie doesn't really age.
Does not age. Not a bit.
The only one they even try to age, or maybe they didn't, and the actress was just superior to everyone, was Ma Bailey. Because in Life Without George, she looks rough.
Sure. Yes, she does.
Like, I don't think that's necessarily anything they did. I think that just goes. That's why men always want women to smile, because apparently we look like that when we don't smile.
Well, yeah, you don't want to turn into you don't want to run a boarding house. Okay, so maybe it's bigger than Potter, because Potter doesn't age. Like, he is the same age when George is 11 as when George is almost 40. Uncle Billy doesn't. So, but neither does Uncle Billy. He doesn't age.
Eustace,
he doesn't age. I like how I did this, and I was talking about Eustace counting money at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. Not a what? Mr. Martini doesn't age.
Mr. Gower.
Mr. Gower ages when he's drunk, like in the alternate reality, right? Yeah, that's facts. In the alternate reality where George isn't around, so maybe. Okay, this is bigger than I thought.
Oh my.
So I asked you a different question yesterday while I was watching this movie. And that question is all of this Mary's fault?
Wow.
Because what'd you wish into that rock? She wished to get married to George and live in that house. In order for that to come to pass, all of these other horrible things have to happen to George to keep him in town.
Wow.
Right? And when George is finally, maybe he figures it out, I don't know, but he's at the end of his rope, and he's about to finally get out of this spell she has cast on him by making this wish. She appeals to a different celestial deity to stop him. And it fucking works. Okay? So And we see that when you take George out of it, everyone in town ages, which means, like, presumably if George is never born, Mary never makes that wish and never controls the
But
aging of the
she
town.
is better off without him. She's fine. She is perfectly okay. She's gone makeup free. She's
There's
chosen a life at the library. Honestly, I was watching it and I went, I think Mary is doing just fine without George. I think Mary's the one person who was better off.
Clearly the worst thing has befallen her. She is an old maid librarian. There is no sadder fate. No sadder fate. Edict. No sadder fate.
No.
Oh, dedict. You de-edict. Oh, bad news. Like, when you take George out of the equation, Mary doesn't make the wish. As part of her wish, I think the entire town doesn't age.
Oh, you're welcome.
So she's created. You ready for this?
Oh my god.
It's WandaVision.
That's amazing.
I mean, she's created a false reality in this town, keeping everyone the same age, trapping her husband here against his wishes.
You men do shit.
She did, because she
had to involve witchcraft.
But she did, like, and then you take George out of it, you take that wish away, and this town becomes what it always wanted to be, which is like upstate Vegas. Like, that place looks baller. There's so much nightlife. There's so many great things going on. There's girls. There's burlesque. There's gambling. Violet's just getting arrested for shit. I don't know. She knows Potter, goddammit. Like, I think so much of this is because Mary is a witch.
Cool.
I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying this is a different movie than everybody thinks they're watching.
Wow.
It is a Twilight Zone episode where this witch traps a man against his will for the entirety of his life and imprisons in a town to do it. It's fucking WandaVision.
I'm fine with that story. I love WandaVision.
I did not realize until just now that WandaVision had stolen from It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, George Bailey and Mr. Potter are Vision and White Vision.
Wow.
I don't know which one. And all the kids are fake. Zuzu and Tommy, and they're not real. They don't ever leave that house. They're trapped there for all eternity. They're figments of her imagination. This movie's twisted.
You're screwy is what you are.
You're screwy. Okay. I also mentioned something to you in text last night, and you started to track it during the movie. And I'm wondering, yes, did you finish tracking it, or did you give up in the middle, or does it fall apart? Is it a bad theory?
It's not a bad theory, but it changes. Or does it? So let's walk through this theory. Why don't you start by explaining what your theory was?
Okay. My theory was that every time Sam Wainwright says hee-haw, some fucked up shit's about to happen to George.
Okay. So, first time we hear hee-haw, Harry Bailey falls through the ice.
Yep.
George loses his hearing.
Yep.
The second time, his dad has a stroke.
Uh-huh. Well, no, the second time is when they drop him off at Gower's drugstore right before he goes and...
Oh, they do say hee-haw then. Okay.
Yeah, they hee-haw him at the door. Yeah.
So then it's going to be 4 for 4. Okay, so we have that, and then his, hee-haw at the dance. His dad has a stroke. The fourth time. Oh.
Well, I'm not sure what order, but go ahead. Which one were you thinking of?
I feel like there was one before the wedding. Or no, he says it on the phone and George gets married.
Yes.
And then he says it again Um, around like when they're about to go off down to Florida, and Mary was rubbing her stomach, and later on reveals to George that she's pregnant, and I was like, "Ooh, well, bad for
You on
George."
the nest?
George Bailey Lasso Stewart.
Well, last was a stork. I love it. Okay, so then yeah, rubs her belly, which I didn't even notice the belly rubbing. That's funny.
Noticed it for the first time, and it was like, "Good on you, Donna Reed. Very
Yeah,
good acting."
that's a stork.
And I think the last time is when he gets the money, and we have no idea what fucked up shit is going to happen to George
That's
after
true.
that. But at least he's rich enough to deal with it now.
Yeah,
Which is what we all want.
that's right. We got enough money to deal with your problems. So maybe Sam Wainwright is calling him a jackass every single time and making George into the jackass.
I guess.
Like, I just used to think it was funny that Sam Wainwright said hee-haw all the time, but now I'm like, oh man, bad stuff happens when he says hee-haw.
I think that's a bigger problem than Mary making a simple wish for happiness with George. And
happiness for herself.
More than anyone else was giving him. Gave away all that youth for free.
Yeah. All right. Do you have other big picture thoughts?
I mean, they can be addressed in Adventures in Intimacy.
Okay, well, let's have some adventures.
Okay, so
a very interesting predicament.
Yeah, I could sell tickets. Shame on you, George.
Well, they're all the way downtown. They'd be on my side too.
Okay, that one, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Too far. I'm going to say something controversial. And
okay.
So with this, I'm not immune to this love story. But when I watched it super closely this time, I was like, had my magnifying glass out, and I was like, huh.
She's a witch.
No. I said, I don't see where this love story is.
Okay.
Obviously, because, you know, for the woman's character, oh, it doesn't matter why she's in love with him. She's just in love with him. It's just what women do.
You like all the boys.
Huh? What'd you say?
You like all the boys. What's wrong with that?
Honestly, me growing up. And then also I'm going to preface with, when I speak of these things, it's of the time. We're in a different time now, which is why they're fishy. But I respect that it's of the time and probably seemed lovely and charming at the time because the bar was even lower then than it is now.
Right.
He's kind of mean to her from the very beginning because he asks her if she wants coconut on her chocolate ice cream and she says, I don't like coconuts. Say brainless. Fuck you. Give me that sore ear. Give me the non-sore ear.
Yeah.
And then torturing her by keeping her in that bush naked. And then, okay, where I was peak confused, but also completely taken in, is when they're on the phone with Sam Wainwright. You have, I want to describe the intimacy real quick, because it is pretty brilliant. You have them both, like, with, there's barely room for the Holy Ghost between them. That's how close they are. Now, she's emotional, not looking at him because she's feeling rejected. You know, he is kind of like profile. So she's facing out and he's standing profile to her, you know, looking at her, clearly angry about things that have transpired, angry that he wants her, I think. And, you know, his his nose is wanting to nuzzle her, like it's moving, but it's not quite there. And my God, it's so powerful watching this happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you do get taken in by it. And then he starts shaking her. And again, I get where it's coming from. I just don't understand how we are supposed to support this love story. Like, she's getting what she wants. He is, this is so weird to say. He is settling,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And it's like, and you see in that moment he is grappling with something, with once again, like, do I fight for what I want, or do I take what is being offered, this one silver lining in front of me, to make a life here tolerable? Do I, like, it's really confusing and baffling to me. And again, we get him shaking her, all of a sudden she's crying, but then they embrace. And not to say that you can't have impassioned moments leading to, passionate romance, but
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm missing something because I am from 2024.
That's possible. I just think that we, as a movie-going population, are not used to this many emotions happening inside one person at the same time.
Well, and
Right.
I think yes. I think in that kind of moment too, that's where I wonder if you can't add more lines, then you need to add something more between them. Either a glance or something. I just feel like they could have layered it even more, but yeah, I think you're right in that as a movie going audience, especially nowadays, we are wanting things spelled out so much more. I love that moment. That's one of those I don't know how I would fix yet. And maybe it can't be fixed because again, it does still do its job. I mean, at
Mhm.
least for me, like I said, I'm not immune to George and Mary's love story. I'm just also wondering where this love story came from.
Yeah. I mean, it came from all the way back when they were kids. Um, and then it came from her fucking witchcraft, making a wish and breaking the. But, um, yeah, I think I like that interaction on the phone it's not um the culmination of a love story. It's like it's a bunch of things at once. I mean, it is his his rage at once again being trapped here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's how he's defeated and he feels helpless that he's even in her living room right now because well, how did she? I didn't. I was just going for a walk.
I just came to
Like,
get warm.
yeah, like he making violent love to me, mother. Um,
George Bailey, what does he want?
uh, what do I? What I don't know what
What do
um
you want?
he feels like he doesn't have another choice.
That makes me
Like,
so mad though, because I'm like,
but
you fucking
it's
die. You have
but
a
it's
choice.
but all of his choices, all of his life have been taken away from him. He feels like, and it
Yeah.
happened again. And he's here because he wants to be, because like he's always had these feelings for Mary, but he's also there because he knows he's never leaving.
Yeah.
And so that moment of like he's even while he's being offered a lifeline, ground floor, plastics, all of this stuff. Fuck that. Because that is going to let me down too.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only option I have that is safe and that will not break my heart.
Mm.
And all of that is happening between them an inch and a half apart.
If that.
Yeah. And so like I think what people want to remember about George and Mary is like, you know, the meet cute with the dance and the fall in the pool.
Yep.
And, you know, the What'd You Wish on a Planet Rock and the Buffalo Gals of it all. And like, because all of their interactions that aren't that one are very sweet. You know? But that one pivotal moment is like 7 different things going on inside of him.
Anyway.
Not least of which is his efforts to escape her spell.
Wow.
This is the moment she wins. This is the moment that her spell captures him.
Yeah.
And he is no longer allowed to escape Bedford Falls.
Wow.
He doesn't even cross the bridge.
That's so aggravating to me, but I see where you're coming from. And I see where he's coming from. Huh?
The spell thing is just funny, but also kind of exactly what happens in this movie. Like, it's weird to look at it that way, but it's all there.
I guess it's the only way I could forgive a man feeling like he has no choice, and it's like, you do, but again, that, you know, he has familial obligations. I feel like, you know, there's some obligations of being a man, you know, that he is struggling with. But sticking to intimacy here, I couldn't help but notice as I was watching this that the same stereotype is being played out here, or is being played out on 90210 as it is here, which is that blondes are for fun and brunettes are for life.
Oh, okay.
You know,
I think they're both fun.
Listen, let's not forget gingers. Let's not forget raven-haired beauties. You know, that's like right. Silver-haired foxes. Like, let's listen.
All the follicles of the rainbow.
All the follicles of the rainbow. So I thought that was funny. Ooh, they had some awesome movie kisses in this. Oh my god, yes. I mean, it was definitely the I would say what was the ideal Hollywood formula of the time. Like, he's much taller than her, so she's breaking her neck, looking up at him and holding on to him. You know, looking again. But what I loved in addition to that was, so specifically their honeymoon, I'm going to call their honeymoon kiss, you know, she's 320 Sycamore, and they're kissing, and she's telling him about like how this is what she wished for, and like they're both still holding each other and he's nuzzling her, you know, like Jimmy Stewart understood the assignment of, you know, a kiss doesn't have to be just a kiss. There are other ways to show that you love someone. And he does that by nuzzling with his nose, kissing her cheek. And oh my God. And now this leads in perfectly to when they're reunited, the way he just is like kissing all over her face. And his hands are around her face. And are you real? It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, like, so again, like, it's not my love story, but I think it is a love story of its time, and this movie was probably the ideal for a lot of people at the time. And to be as lucky as Mary in the end and have her husband appreciate her, like, yeah.
Yeah. And to be rescued from a life as an old maid librarian.
Listen,
worse than death.
She was fine. She was fine.
I don't know. That's what put George over the edge. He's like, I can't have that. Like, whatever else, if that's a bridge too far. Like, I'll lose my car.
The
It's
one the one woman who finds my romantic antics charming
fine.
is now screaming and running from me. I
Mhm.
cannot abide.
No, I couldn't even get Vi. Like, I mean, I know
Right
her.
here.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm trying to get her to walk barefoot. Um. Yeah. Any more intimacies?
No, there's some beautiful stuff in here. It's
Mhm,
questionable, but it's also beautiful at the same time. So
mhm. Yeah. I love it. Um. All right. Um. Let's run up Mount Bedford into Needle Drop Forest. Um. I don't have a whole lot to say about Buffalo Gals. Can't you come out tonight? Can't you come out? But I sing that song to myself. Dance by daylight.
oh, the
Listen to the rock.
no, if I tell you, it won't come true.
Yeah, and you'll escape my prison. Um, that wish fucked it all up. I'm just saying. The wish did it. Um,
Besmirching Mary's name.
I know.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a witch.
No, but I think she is one. I love that scene of them singing that song together. It's just, even though like no one knows what that song is other than that it's in this movie.
Yeah.
It's a classic because of this scene, and then also not for nothing, but one of the things that makes me sad in this movie is that I didn't mention earlier in the list of things that make me cry is when she puts the needle down on Buffalo Gals and she tries to sing it to him, and he's like, "What's that? Oh yeah, that." Like
Dick
she,
move.
I yeah, I don't think he's like being mean on purpose. I think he's so deep in his own shit that he's not even seeing it.
It's still dick move.
It's very sad. It's heartbreaking to watch like Mary's hope get deflated. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, because she tries to go back and do their inside joke, and he's like, "What? I don't remember that. That wasn't important to me."
Yeah.
You know, um, and it breaks her just a little bit. But she's able to turn it all back around on the phone call, get him out of that plastics game.
Yes, because
Um,
another man called her.
that's right. Sam Wainwright's about to call.
Oh, hello, Sam. How are you?
All right. What else time? Um,
I have no idea.
I have a few things.
Okay, great.
I'm going to give you. I want you to tell me what the funniest moment of the movie is, and I have a few options.
Okay.
Number one, the principal jumps in the pool like this.
Well,
The tiny little pyramid he makes and the dive fucking slays me every time. Option number two, we'll wait for you, baby.
yeah.
Just two grown ass men hoping to tag team Vi on the side of the road, and she walks away, and they're like, "We got no better options. We'll leave it here."
Yep.
Um, Option number three, say brainless.
No.
Look, the way that people call people stupid in this movie is very funny to me. Like, she doesn't like coconuts, so she's brainless. That is such a leap for me. Like,
Yeah.
why is that the insult for you don't like coconut? I don't like coconut either. I guess I'm brainless.
Because if you're a girl and you don't like the things I like automatically, then you're stupid.
That's right. Say brainless. Or option number four, Sam doesn't want to talk to George, you idiot.
I never heard her say "you idiot" until you texted it to me.
It's the funniest damn thing.
You're missing every time Annie speaks, which is gold.
All the Annie stuff is great, yes. Um, The
I'd stay and listen if I thought it was anything worth listening to.
oh, you would you? Yeah, all the and the okay. Option number 5 is I was saving up this money for my divorce if I ever got a husband.
Good God. And of course, that was another one I never. For some reason, it wouldn't click in my head. There are
Yeah.
some lines in this that are said really, really fast.
Yeah.
And with dialects on top of it, and I'm just like, I've never understood what this hilarious thing is that this woman is saying. And when you texted me that, I lost it. I went,
Yeah.
oh, that's brilliant.
You idiot. Option number 6. He's making violent love to me, mother.
I do love that line.
It's so funny. And then the third thing with her mom, option number 7, is mother's on the extension. I am not.
What? Or when they're kissing and she goes,
It's because she wanted in on the ground floor.
she wanted to be taken care of.
Option number 8, and this is 100% the line reading. Although the line itself is very funny. When the bank examiner comes in, and George is showing him the newspaper about how his kid brother Harry Bailey was given the Congressional Medal of Freedom, and the bank examiner's response is, "Yes, well, I suppose they do those sort of things."
Oh my God.
Like he's
so sassy.
He is. He doesn't give a fuck. Like, I suppose they do those things.
I'd like to get home in time for dinner in Elmira.
That's right. With my family. So which of those is the funniest moment of this movie for you?
Oh my God, there were so many.
Or something else. If you have another one, you're free to add it to the list.
Excuse me. What were the first couple again?
This.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll wait for you, baby.
We do that one a lot.
So funny.
Gosh, I was so tickled by Annie's performance last night.
Oh, wait, I forgot one.
Especially the dinner. Especially, like, the dinner scene. I mean, yeah, that line at the very end is iconic. But I just think we get so much gold. Every line she says, she makes a meal out of it. What was the other thing you were going to add?
Oh, I wasn't, but speak for yourself. I guess we're just a couple of old maids, Annie. Speak for yourself.
Oh. Yes, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speak for yourself, Bailey.
That's right. I'm also a big fan of there's something funny about Mr. Martini yelling at the teacher's husband when he's like, "You punching my best friend." What? Your best friend? I've never seen you two together when it wasn't a business setting. What are you talking about?
Because George is the nicest person to Italians in this.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, apparently.
in this era.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, there was something else I thought of and I forgot it. Let me think a minute.
Was it through the door or out the window?
No. Oh, it was Clarence going. It was Clarence trying to order a drink.
Yes.
That's a good lad. Mulled wine. Hold the cinnamon and extra club. Now off your way, good boy. Just
now listen here, you two pixies. Through the door or out the window. Yeah, his accent is so good.
Listen, fella, or little guy. Are you okay? Worried about you.
I was buried in these.
I passed away.
The guy who falls out of his chair, that is a killer fall. When the legs of the chair just drop out, he just flat back. Yeah, that's also quite funny.
Yeah.
This movie has legit lols. Like it is very funny and makes me cry every time. Is touching. And all of these things at once. This movie has all of the emotions inside of George Bailey. Like just the whole rainbow.
Can I have 1750?
Oh, bless your heart. She's the sweetest looking lady in the world. That little face she has. Oh, it's just so sweet. Yeah.
And also, George, don't be kissing your clothes.
Well, that's fair.
But it was at least an old-fashioned chaste kiss. Like, okay, I'm just kissing you on the side.
Yeah. Okay. Is this anyone's defining role?
Well, I think it's Jimmy Stewart's.
I kind of think it's all three of the leads.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's Donna Reed's defining role, even though she had a TV show named after her where she played her own twin. And still, this is her defining role, I think.
Yes.
Lionel Barrymore. I'm sure I've seen him in other things, but sentimental hogwash. Like that's Vampire Potter. That's who he is.
If I saw anyone from this and anyone else actually no, because the actress who plays Vi, I know her first and foremost as Ada Wanney in Oklahoma.
Okay,
but it's a tie.
For me, she's Vi, but like apparently she did a bunch of film noir stuff. And I saw a film noir with Clarence in it recently.
Oh,
yeah. So he's still Clarence. So I think this is his defining role. This might be everyone in the movie's defining role.
Clarence,
except for Freddie Othello.
Okay.
Do you know who that is?
What you mentioned? Didn't you say he's Alfalfa?
He's Alfalfa. Yeah, that is Alfalfa from the Little Rascals, which is like did you ever watch any Little Rascals reruns? Like when you were a kid, is that something you ever saw? So you didn't have any awareness of Alfalfa and Buckwheat and Spanky and Froggy.
Watched
and
the movie version they made in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. That's not it. I mean, I know what you're talking about, but boy, that ain't it. The original Little Rascals, that's Alfalfa. So everyone who saw this movie knew him as Alfalfa. I would say everyone up until the mid 80s knew him as Alfalfa. But if you didn't watch those when you were little, those reruns, because like in the mid 80s, like one of Eddie Murphy's big characters on SNL was his Buckwheat character.
Yeah.
And Mary Gross played Alfalfa. They did a Who Shot Buckwheat, like a Who Shot JR. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Spoilers, it was Alfalfa. But people who were making Saturday Night Live in the early 80s grew up watching Little Rascals so much that Eddie Murphy was like, this Buckwheat character is hilarious if I come at him this way. You know? And we can and the audience will get it. Like the audience will know who Buckwheat and Alfalfa are if that's what we do. And so when people watched this movie, they're like, I forgot Alfalfa was in this. But now I think I pointed out to Liam, hey, that's Alfalfa. And he's like, what are you talking about? Never heard of this person before. I
wonder if he's also the Haynes sisters' dog-faced brother that we only see in photo.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, the dog-faced brother.
Yeah. No, he's in 2 Christmas movies. One is a photograph. I forgot that he was that, but yes, he is that.
Amazing.
So, yep. So Freddie Othello himself. But yeah, he's Alfalfa. Like that's, except for maybe now people wouldn't even know him at like, they're just like, Why
I
don't
I
you, why don't you
couldn't
stop him?
tell you I couldn't tell you the name of the actor who played Alfalfa in the 90s one, but that's the movie I watched repeatedly growing up, was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
remake of The Little Rascals.
sure. And I never did see that. I mean, I knew it existed, but I was like in college, I think, when it came out, and I'm not going to go see that. Those aren't my rascals. God damn it. Um, any other what else is for you?
I don't think so.
Okay, I have one more, and it's uh keep the $8,000. I want a piece of him.
Yes.
The lost ending of It's a Wonderful Life, as also produced on Saturday Night Live, which you just saw for the first time yesterday.
Oh my
Is
god.
It's so funny.
It's everything I wanted and more, because
Yeah,
yes, I want to see Potter get his ass kicked.
yeah. There's no comeuppance in this movie for Potter,
No.
and it is the one thing that the movie does. And it would be like tonally real weird if, like, my big brother George is the luckiest man in town. Let's go get Potter. Um, but it's so funny. Well, you're nothing but a fraud. You're not even a cripple.
That
I
is
love it.
understandable.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the lost ending to It's a Wonderful Life on Saturday Night Live with Jimmy Stewart and John Lovitz and Phil Hartman as Uncle Billy, um, do yourself a solid and go watch that. It's really, really great.
Mhm.
So what is this the EST of for you?
Oh boy, I forgot about that. Um, oh man, this is gonna take me a minute. You go.
Okay, I don't know what the word is for it, but this is the movie that this is the only movie that makes me cry every time I watch it.
Aww.
So that's an EST of some sort. That is a superlative. Like, there's no other movie that does this to me.
Oh gosh. The only thing that is coming to mind for me is, but I don't even know if it's true. Is timeliest. Is
Hmm.
maybe the most timeless of Christmas stories. Like, or not even Christmas stories, because it came out in July. It was not marketed as a Christmas story.
Right. Yeah.
Um, yeah, wow. I completely forgot about EST for this, but I feel like it's either I think it could be both the timeliest and the most timeless of
Yeah.
holiday movies. Um, because it does still resonate deeply with people.
Hmm.
Um, I I mean, it's funny. I don't meet a lot of other people my age who love it as much as I do. I think a lot of people want to pretend to be like above it, but
Mm.
it is a good movie. Um,
It's a great movie.
and again, it really. Oh, I was thinking this was pretty like pro mental health for its time. I
Mm.
mean, the fact that in the very beginning, when Clarence goes, "Is he sick?" and it's met with, "No, worse, he's discouraged." I was like,
Yeah.
"Get it."
Yeah. Joseph's feeling it. Yeah.
I mean, and other people don't handle it well, but
Mhm.
I was talking about it with Walter after, and he went, "Well, wouldn't if this was right after World War II, isn't this when people are finally acknowledging that PTSD is a thing?"
A little bit. The shell shocked, I think, is the
Well,
words
yeah,
they used. But
it's
yeah, it was a thing for sure. Yeah. Um, I don't think they had the words for it. Um,
no.
but it was definitely something that people were dealing with. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, there's something about it that's just it's all of the things that it can be,
It
you
is a
know.
healing story,
Mhm.
and I think the way it ends, I mean, I know something I've been dealing with lately is accepting that maybe sometimes you do just need to learn to be grateful for the rare moment of joy,
Mhm.
because maybe that's all you're going to get right now. There will be others, but life is really fucking hard. And so you have to be better about seeing the good when it happens and focus and like remembering that as opposed to remembering the really bad stuff. And it's
Yeah.
really hard. So I think the way this movie ends is pretty great in that he has been able to see the highlights, and he's able to be surrounded by people tonight, be with his community, and that'll be something he treasures and hopefully holds on to get him through the next rough spell.
Yeah. Next
Because,
time Sam Wainwright says Hee-Haw at him.
you know, until Potter dies.
Yeah,
And
which he won't, because he's a fucking. All the adults are ageless because Mary cast a spell.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know. I don't want to watch this movie knowing that Mary cast a spell because it makes it a whole different movie. But I'm not wrong. Like, she wished for literally all of this stuff.
Blaming the woman.
Well, you know,
I'm gonna have a talk with Laura after this.
if the bathrobe stolen from the swimming pool at school fits.
And it didn't.
No. My train.
Pardon me, madam.
I think we've done it. I think once again we have proven my theory that everything comes back to Aaron Spelling.
Even It's a Wonderful Life.
Even It's a Wonderful Life. The greatest holiday movie of all time. So join us here next Wednesday, Cheesemeisters, when we are going to watch season 3, episode 17. The game is chicken.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And the movie that we're going to watch for that, which we haven't discussed yet, because I think we want to. I think we should hang it on a guest star. And you don't know who the guest star is yet.
Okay.
So once you see what it is, I think it will open up some guest star connected opportunities for the Peach Pod After Dark next week.
Exciting.
Yeah. But until then, Cheesemeisters. Cheers.
Cheers.